calling together. Okay, good evening, everyone. Calling together tonight's planning board meeting for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, 6 p.m. I'm going to start with roll call. Matthew?
Here.
Okay, Yolando?
Here.
Marty?
Here.
Jim?
Here.
And Tony's here. All right. Next up on the agenda, we need a motion to accept last month's meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I
Motion
make
to
that
accept.
motion.
Second.
All right, roll call. Marty?
Yes.
Roll call. Marty?
Yes.
Okay. Jim?
Yes.
Yolando?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Tony, yes. Thank you. Next up, we have form-based code design guidelines review. Who is presenting on this?
Paula will be. Let me move her over. She's on her way now.
Meanwhile, I'm going to keep trying to log in into my computer.
Okay, now I'm seeing. Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Perfect. So through the chair, let me know if there's any issue with my internet. Otherwise I can stop the video. I will start sharing. I am sending a request to share.
Okay. And so form-based code design guidelines review. We've been presented with the form-based code in the past, so is this going to be new information?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So as soon as I can share, I will try again.
You should have access now, Paula. Just
Yes.
for the board, just to piggyback on your question, Madam Chair. Yes, you guys have heard the actual ordinance itself for form-based code that is actually at the ordinance committee right now as we speak as well. This is going to be the design guidelines that are just under the planning board's authority. So this will be similar to like your rules and regulations or the subdivision rules and regulations that the planning board has. So this is not going to be a recommendation back to council. This is going to be you guys approving these design guidelines for your board.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So through the chair, if I may. So I'm just going to go through the first part, which is the introductions and the planning background a little bit faster because there are things that you already seen, but I just want to place the design guidelines within the bigger process that was the form-based code. So just to understand introductions, we have members of the city has been of the planning department has participated, as well as from Ines Land Strategies Group. Emily Key Ines, she's the president, and she is at the moment, as Evan explained, in the ordinance committee presenting the form-based code. And I've been working in this project and the project manager of this project, and I'm also the chief resilience officer of Ines Land Strategies Group. So this is from a bigger effort. So just some of the funding support is also mass development, mass housing, and EOHLC, which has been working within the bigger project. So these are things that you have seen. So this is the bigger the different studies and neighborhood plans so that we built so this built until towards the form-based code. So we also had a lot of input from workshops, citywide public engagement, neighborhood meetings, and final presentations. And from all of this, we gather input not only for the form-based code, but also understanding what type of neighborhood, what type of city the members of the public wanted to have. So we have these three documents. One is the form-based code, and that is the ordinance, the one that is going to the Muni code. We have the illustrative version, so the day-to-day, the easier, more accessible with diagrams that help understand zoning. And then we have this third document, which is the design guidelines. So the first two needs to be adopted by the city council, but the third one only has to be adopted by the members of the planning board. So now into the structure of the design guidelines. So we have an introduction, and that is, it has the purpose, how can we read this document, and where is applying, to what parts of the city applies, because it's not a city guide, a citywide design guidelines is the form-based code. And then we have the design guidelines. We have 10, and they are organized around 3 different themes, which is architecture and its context, neighborhood, street level, and healthy neighborhoods. And then we have a glossary that helps to understand some of the more technical, concepts. So for the purpose, just to have, because you do have the already downtown design guidelines, so it's pretty similar. These are just advisory recommendations. The goal of this is to promote design excellence, so that the projects will reflect community values and enhance quality of life. And the design principles try to make these projects more successful. There are other specific guideline, specific purpose. So it's more about understanding, having more clear statements, understand what the city values, understand that the planning board, when using this, is more consistent and fair. And so also encourage the developers to understand that there is a more predictability and clarity of what the planning board, but also the city wants to see. Where it applies, since it's form-based code, it applies to the form-based code sub-areas. So in this case, we have downtown Trackbrook, Campella, Montello, and Lovettbrook. And to what types of projects, all the projects that go through site plan review and special permit. It is recommended for any project to use them, but the ones that are going to, the projects that you will use this will be for these type of projects. Also encourage to follow as much guidelines as possible, but understand that not every project has the same characteristics and has to follow every design guideline. So as I said, it's around 3 different themes. The first one is architecture and its context. What it tries is to give some principles so that the project is coherent with an architectural concept, that it relates to the surroundings and is using the context to also within the design, so that it follows and strengthens that character of the neighborhood. The second is more about how the project can help the street level, the neighborhood, and so to be more active, more walkable, more safe and vibrant. And the third theme is how the project can minimize their impact, but also help the city with stormwater management or heat island effect. So we have 3 topics and 10 design guidelines. So in the first one, we have 4 design guidelines. The first one is context-sensitive design, coherent architectural idea, relationship between architecture and function, and then exterior elements and finishes. The neighborhood street level talks about pedestrian-oriented street fronts, active and vibrant neighborhoods, and mobility. And healthy neighborhoods is about preservation of natural features, strategies to reduce carbon emissions, and resilient strategies. I'm not going to go in depth because there is a lot of text. I have, though, the guidelines, the document. So if there is any specific question at the end, I can answer. But what I want to do now is talk about more how it's organized. So almost each of these guidelines, they use this double spread, so 2 pages. And in one side, we have all the text, and then we have the diagrams, so that it illustrates some of the design guidelines to make it more easy to understand, more accessible. There is only one guideline that is divided into in 2 parts because it has a lot of information. So explaining a little bit of the structure, we always are going to see the theme, and that every theme has a different color, as you have seen. Then we have the number, so the design guideline with the title, a short description, and then the best practices. And the best practices uses the text on the left and then the illustrations on the right. And the best practices are going to be organized in 3 areas. One is the context, so is to understand how the building impacts the context, but also the other way around, how the building should use the context for its design. Then we have the site, so the area, if there is any open space, how it should be placed in the site, where the public or more active functions should be located, etc. And then the building itself, so the architecture of the building itself. So what we have is this diagrams. We always have, I will go back to the previous one. We always have the 3D, and then we have a floor plan, and it's just to make sure that it's easier to read with both information. So the floor plan is basically seeing the block from above. And so what we have is always the same 3D, which tries to be that kind of type of block, so with some mixed use, and then how it transitions into residential neighborhoods, which is a lot of what we have in the form-based code. And each of this, it's always the same 3D, but each guideline will reflect the different strategies. We also have sometimes some zooms in, so it's easier to see. In this example, we have the retail edge versus a residential edge, and how it can be independent on the function, it can be still active and vibrant. And then, for example, as well, in the green will be all the healthy neighborhood design guidelines. Then we have 2 different elements as well that appear, which are these like panels with the different colors of the themes that refer to other design guidelines. So that says that there is more information about the things that are being said in there in other. So for example, for the topic of natural features, there is more information in the design guideline 8. And then we also have these icons, which refers to threading topics across all the design guidelines. So these kind of weaving topics, not all of the best practices have them, some of them, and they indicate related topics that connect different strategies across all the different themes. And the topics that we use are preserves, is the brownish one, which is about preserving historic buildings and or structures. Brockton, especially the downtown, has a lot of very important historical buildings. So we want to preserve that. It gives a lot of the character of the neighborhoods. And so this is an important and threading topic along the design guidelines. We also have 2 more that is about health. One is about what type of strategies improve social health and what types of strategies improve mental health. And so, for example, we have, these are 2 different guidelines. In guideline 2, we can see 2 of those icons. So it talks about preserve and restore architectural features and materials that are important in defining historic character. In another guideline, we have, for example, another historical, it's about in the context, explore the history of the site and neighborhood as a potential placemaking opportunity, look for historical and cultural significance using neighborhood groups and archives as resources. And for example, about social health, the B1 is about seek opportunities to foster social interaction through open space available for public life. Consider features such as widened sidewalks, recessed entries, garbage extensions, courtyard plazas, etc., and other pedestrian amenities. And then we would also have the glossary, and that would be it. So I'm going to stop sharing now, but I can share and bring even the document. I would love to hear what are your thoughts?
Thank you. Nice job presenting, Paula. Board members, questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I've got a few questions here. Just a high level overview of this. We've seen this presentation. I feel like we've seen all the details of it, but just how many steps are left, and when do you think it would actually be implemented?
So right now the form-based code is in, so for these guidelines to be able to apply, the form-based code needs to be approved. So right now we are the ordinance committee. If that gets, I'm guessing that gets, and Evan, help me here if I'm mistaken, but this should go to city council. Once the city council approves a form-based code, then it goes into apply. So
Okay,
we
so
need the form-based code for this.
We're really close to that, considering.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
So,
Jim, there's
go
actually
ahead.
an ordinance committee happening right now at the same time as this meeting. That's
Okay.
why Elijah couldn't be here. It's at ordinance now. I don't know if they're gonna, depending on how it goes tonight, they'll either want it to go to another ordinance committee or they'll just send it back to council. I'm assuming it's probably gonna take until the end of the summer though,
Okay.
to go through council.
Another question I have is, so we're changing the zoning. How do we notify the property owners that your zoning has changed? So when does that go out? Is there a standard notification for when you change your zone? We haven't changed zoning, so I've never seen it.
So that will depend on the city. So I'm going to
Same, Jim. That's actually a good question. Like I said, I don't know exactly. That's something I guess will go through the city council or the clerk or perhaps the assessors.
Okay.
Would do that because this is really a function of the city council. I don't know. Honestly, we can
No,
look
that's
into it,
fine.
but I'm not sure. Yeah.
No, that's fine. And my last question is, compared to our current zoning, what's our expectation of population when we do change the zoning? So we're obviously, when you change it, it encourages development, but where does that development lead us? Say for population, services, all that stuff. So we've mapped out all these areas. We know what the potential is. What's the impact in terms of services and stuff like that? Do we have any? Was that part of the plan or part of this process?
I don't know if they really did like a full build out type of thing. If everything was maximized, what the numbers are. This is pretty similar to. I don't think it was, Jim. Honestly, I think basically what will happen though, even if the zoning is changed, there will still be like the site plan review process and all that. So it will be dealt with incrementally as it's built up.
Seems like once they get approved, though, this is to avoid a lot of, to even go before zoning. It seems like a lot more is going to be by right.
Sure, and that'll take out the ZBA
Right.
process, but it won't change basically the process with you guys. Again, if any big things going through site plan review, all the different departments reviewing it, and then just like you say, you're going to look at traffic impacts, infrastructure impacts, any of that kind of stuff, and we can kind of take care of that as you do the design review, which is under the authority of you guys, as it goes forward. So it's kind of a little bit. You guys will want to be aware of that when we
I think
review
in the design,
yes,
in the design phase, if we're designing, if it's whether structural or size or capacity, the impact of everything is kind of good to know what we're focused on and what we're capable of for capacity down the road 5-10 years later. So that's
sure, yeah.
all I've got.
Um,
All right, questions from
Madam,
another board member?
Madam Chair, I was just wondering if Paula can almost like simulate a developer utilizing the guide, or like how do you imagine them uh going through the, like if they have a project in a specific area, how should they, like how would they utilize it versus how they're now doing development?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm going to share the document so that we can see more instead of the snippets. The 1 second. Sorry, it takes time. But mainly, what we would love to see is that people would be taking the guideline and going through and reading the guidelines to see what actually applies to their project. Okay, now I have it. I can share now.
I feel like you want to say that it's a guideline, so they're going to follow it. And Yolanda's asking, like, what's different from what they're currently doing?
Yeah,
They
so
follow
right
guidelines
now,
now. Is there different?
so this is just as an advisory. So these are advisory recommendations. So right now they might be doing their own things, looking at certain things. But in this guideline, it says what the city wants to see. So for example, let's see. So for example, they would go and understand, okay, about what do I need to look about the context? And so understand, okay, the height difference, the transitions, how should I use the setbacks, or how can I use some vegetation buffer to also transition, to do some height transitions. So what they will do and what we would love to see is that they would go through the document. It is not a lot of pages. That's why also we try to condense them a lot. And not all of the guidelines would apply to them. For example, we have some that is about historic buildings. So if they are working on those, they should go to the icons and really look into those ones. And sometimes it might be, oh, okay, so this community, what it wants is this type of development. Maybe it's something about more the street trees, or how to integrate transparency in the ground floor, so it's more so it transitions and is more social, safe, what kind of human scale details. So the idea is that the developers will read it. It would also help them to understand what the city wants, and so how it would be easier to go through site plan review. You will have this document. You will use it as well to evaluate all of the different projects, and they can see what the city values. And so you have one guideline, for example, the mobility. The recommendation is to have the entrances not in the corner. The the different ways, if there is a green buffer with trees, how a building should relate to a park. So all of those different things that maybe they do depending on which city. So just to make sure, and it's something also useful for all of the planning board members to go through it and understand what the priorities for the community are. How to address, again, green roofs, step backs, and yeah. So it will be about what the city is looking. It provides clarity for them, and it's not a big document. It's not a lot of words, and you have to read these 100 and something pages. It's 40 pages, 10 guidelines, and best practices. So these help the planning board to have more clarity and always evaluate the projects following the same criteria, and the developers to understand what the city wants. Does that answer?
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate the clarity, and I think like the values and some of the vision in it makes a lot of sense. And I think like for us as planning board members, we kind of need to be really familiarized with this document because it's something that we will be utilizing significantly as we are engaging with projects going forward, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, and it talks not only about, because a lot of the design guidelines are pretty much about the building itself and the architectural elements, so very, very detailed. And here it tries to be more about how the people will experience that project. So it's more about how the building relates to the context, how the building relates to the street, how what are the impacts, so the green, the stormwater management, the heat island effect, and how to minimize those impacts. So it's very holistic approach, and we hope it can help.
Mhm.
And sorry, one last question here. So is the idea that when a developer is not meeting a part of this guideline, are we like having conversations during these planning board meetings to see how we can get them closer to that? Or are we like trying to like, okay, this is where there's trade-offs to be made in regards to these guidelines? Or are we like, no, this is how we want to see Brockton and you need to go back to the drawing board?
Yeah, so that is a good question. So these design guidelines are always advisory. So it's not that you might, and Evan, you can correct me here, but it's not that you cannot let them do. They won't follow all of the guidelines, but this will help you to understand and have a little bit more of, here is the document. This is what we really want in the city, and we would love for you to follow. So it's easier also to, there's kind of a special, especially the special permit, that you have a little bit more teeth to it, that you can use the guidelines and say, look, this is what our community wants, and we would recommend you to follow this. But again, it's not as a development standard where the developer has to follow. This is really
I don't know if
advised
that's
and
my internet.
recommended.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on what Paula said. Like she said this they don't have to, but it's kind of similar to how we do site plan review and think or if you have a neighborhood plan as well. It's putting that information out there so that everyone who wants to come says, yes, this is what the city is looking for. So they have that information up front. And you also have something to fall back on when you request it. So it's not like you're just making arbitrary requests per person. You know what I mean? There's a plan in place and this is what we're going for, and we hope that you are with us in that plan, and we might nudge you to it a little bit as much as we can.
All
Appreciate
right,
that.
guys, we got kicked off. It wasn't you, Paul, it was me this time, but I caught the end of what you were saying, Evan and Yolanda. It's still going to be the same type of presentations that we listen to now and guidance from the department, and I don't see us managing the projects, but rather reviewing it and making suggestions like we do now, and hopefully the developers, agree because they usually do want to work with us. I hope you can hear me because it looks like my internet is going on and off, but
We can.
We
all right,
can.
good. But
Madam
thanks,
Chair, could
Yolanda,
I
for
say,
questions.
Madam
Sure,
Chair?
Marty. Yes.
Thank you. Paula, I just wanted to say that we have never had anything anywhere
Marty, we're
near
looking
this
at
in the city of
we're looking
Brockton.
at your patio. We're looking at your parking area instead of you. Do you want to flip
Oh,
the camera around?
You don't really
There
need
you
to look
are.
at me anyway, but um,
Yeah.
we've never had anything anywhere near this in the city of Brockton. So to me, it's very exciting that we have some parameters now, and everything. Anyone that wanted to could come in here, and everything was mishmash, and so this is very exciting to me. It
Yeah,
sets a
I agree.
framework for how we want the city to be in the next, decade or more, actually. So thank you. I'm for it, 1,000%.
Thank you, Marty. Matthew, anything before we move on, or we've covered?
I think we pretty much covered everything.
I think so. Thank you. All right, Paula, thank you for your time and your presentation.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
And Evan, so that I don't screw anything up, this is not open for public comment, is it? Or am I wrong?
It's not. If you want to ask if anyone has comments, you can. It's up to you.
Well,
This
sure.
is just
Does
a
anyone
document for the planning board, though.
just-
Yeah, last time. Yeah, if anybody in the public would like to comment on this, please use the raise your hand icon, and you will be allowed to speak.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. I don't see anybody, Madam Chair. You're good.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Paula. All right, next up is A&R for 540 Westgate Drive.
Well, Madam Chair, can I just
Um,
1 second? Did you guys
Yeah.
want to vote to approve this, or did you want to revisit it again in the future?
Well, I thought it was just
No, I make a
review, not
motion
these
to approve it.
guidelines.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I see that.
Okay, all right, Marty,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Tony, yes, thank you. So we'll be hearing this again, is that what you're saying, Evan? This
So I'm saying
wasn't really up
this is
for a vote
this is
this
kind of
time.
guidelines and a policy for
It's
the
coming back, 'cause
planning.
there's gonna be revisions to this.
There
This
can
wasn't
be.
final, right? This was, my understanding, it's a review, and then it's gonna, because it says review, and then it's gonna come back. But anyway, we just voted on a review. Okay. Is RJ
Evan, I
O'Connor?
thought we were voting on the guidelines, and then we could change them
Ah.
down the road.
Yes. So yes, you're voting on the guidelines. These are if you approve them, these are active guidelines from the planning board. However, until the form-based code at the city council and ordinance level gets passed, they don't do anything. So if you
Right.
want to, they're in place for when that goes live. These will already be there. You can also in the future revisit these at any time and take a vote at any meeting to revise them. It's all up to you guys.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. All right. All right. Is RJ O'Connell and Associates up and ready to go for 540 Westgate Drive and A&R?
Madam Chair, did you want, so that was item 2. 3 was the short-term ordinance, and then we have one more A&R.
Oh,
you
sorry, I
wanna do
skipped
the-
right over that.
It's
Short-term,
okay.
yep, short-term rental audience. This is actually very interesting with the World Cup coming and all that.
Yes.
Who's
so,
presenting on this?
I will do my best. Nobody that was part of this could be here tonight, so I will give you the quick little overview of this. Basically, this was an ordinance that was drafted by the building department and inspectional services, I believe, in tandem with the mayor's office. Basically, a little bit of the history is the Brockton struggles with basically having illegal in-law apartments, illegal little rentals, that kind of stuff. And there's not a great enforcement mechanism in the city to deal with them. Now with the World Cup coming to the area, the demand for those are expected to rise quite a bit. And as Brockton is right next to, very close to Gillette, we're expecting to get a lot of people renting out their houses and stuff for that. So the city decided, instead of trying to continue to fight, toothlessly against these, let's regulate them, legalize them, and regulate them a little bit, so that we kind of have some control over them. So this is a temporary ordinance that lasts just through the end of July. It puts some parameters on short-term rentals, which is basically like an Airbnb, B&B situation type of thing. They have to register with the city. They get inspected by the city. And if they do that, then they can rent out. That's really all there is to it. It's not a very in-depth thing. It's a kind of a temporary thing for this. I believe the intention is, once this is done and they see how it plays out over the World Cup, they will take a look at it again and revise it to hopefully kind of make it permanent going forward. But again, it's kind of, I guess, one of the biggest things is to kind of disrupt a basically dangerous black market, so to speak, bring it into, legalization and allow it to be regulated a little bit and also maybe generate some revenue for the city. So that's the brief
Allow it to
overview
be
of
done
it.
the right way. Yeah, allow it to be done the right way, hopefully, and have people comply. But hopefully those coming in to do the rentals. I mean, how do the folks coming into the city to rent, how do they know that this is in place and there needs to be an approval before Tony just goes and rents out my bedroom?
So to be honest, Madam Chair, I'm not sure of all the details of this. That's handled through the building department. I believe it's going to work on a building permit or like a permit process, like a lot of other things are. I don't believe this is necessarily going to be advertised. It's just kind of going to be there for people who are doing it anyways. But I'm really not entirely sure how they plan on handling it
Okay.
beyond that.
And
Let's
Madam Chair,
It's
through
definitely
you,
a nice step to try to control it. So it's a great idea. Yes, Yolando?
and this is more on the property owner side of things, right? Like that's who we're the
E-
regulations for, not the actual rent, the renters, the short-term rental renters.
Correct. This is more aimed at like owners who have a
Mm.
house or so, and then they can rent out like a room in their house for someone to stay for the weekend or a week or something like that. It's not meant for, large complexes. It's not meant for people who are coming in here. It's for the property owners that are already here in Brockton.
Madam Chair, I have a question I want to bounce off of
All
that
right.
answer.
Mhm.
So let's say like someone had an illegal in-law, we're allowing them to utilize that illegal in-law now to rent out. Is that how that works?
If they go through the process. So say, you have sure. So say in your basement, Matt, you have an illegal in-law right now. You
Don't
could
tell
go and
anyone.
you could go and then apply for this. An inspector would come out, inspect it, and then if it's good, you'll have a permit to do it legally.
Okay, and
Okay.
then that permit would just be in place, and but that period of time only left to apply for that only lasts until July. So it's just a way to get people to hopefully do everything the right way, and we give them this little bit of leeway to
Yeah,
do it the right way.
it's
Mhm.
trying to put some guardrails on
All
a
right.
something that's going to happen anyways in the city.
Exactly. So if they're caught, we have at least some
Mhm.
regulatory carved out
Well,
to
well,
fine
now I
them or
wish I had an
whatnot.
in-law. Wish I had an in-law downstairs. I should have built one. That was my only
Thank
question. I
you.
just wanted to make
Thank
sure I
you,
understood.
Evan. And there's no vote. This was just a review of what's
So
coming.
you'll want to vote to recommend it either favorably or unfavorably back to city council.
Okay. All right. So is there a motion to recommend this favorably or
Yeah,
not?
Motion to
yeah, I make that
recommend
motion.
favorably.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
All right. Matthew?
Yes, favorably.
Okay. Marty?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Yolando?
Yes.
Tony? Yes, most definitely. Thank you. All right. Now, 540 Westgate Drive A&R is RJ O'Connell and Associates here. Hi, Isaiah. Did you just jump on? I didn't see you before.
No, I've been
Um,
here, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, the Keith Field one is good to go. Do you want to hear them now, or
Sure.
do you still like
Oh,
to? Okay.
if they're
Yeah.
good to go,
All right.
let's
Okay.
hear
So
about
Tim,
Keith.
I'll be with you in a moment. Attorney McCluskey should be here. I am going to share my screen for this. Give me a moment. But Attorney McCluskey, you can begin whenever you are ready.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. For the record, Attorney John McCluskey, representing the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro South. And this is a project that is contiguous to the existing Boys and Girls Club property that was originally purchased from the city. This property is part of the Eldon B. Keith Field, and this came about due to a tremendous need for additional space, additional educational space and recreational space for at least 300 additional um, children in the city of Brockton who utilize this property. This actually came before you in January, I believe, and I was not aware that it was on the agenda, and I think that and it was denied, but I think that I can give you some additional information this evening, which would help get this through. First of all, we've been working on this project since Mayor Rodriguez was a mayor 4 years ago, and he was very in favor of this project going forward. Uh, as always happens, my phone rings when things like this happen. I don't know why people calling me this time of night. In any event, so it's lot one on the plan, and we first went before the Zoning Board of Appeals, I believe in 2024. So this is a 49,000 change square foot lot, on which a new building will be constructed to house the additional needs for the Boys and Girls Club. It will be served by an easement from the city of Brockton. This whole parcel, the Eldon McKeith property, is owned by the city, and there's a deed restriction in there that makes the school committee sort of a player in managing this property. Coincidentally, tonight the club is before the school committee getting final security on finally secured on the easement, which we've been working on for a number of years now, since especially the Board of Appeals approved it in 2024. Part of the Board of Appeals approval was that we would have access to West Elm Street, which is shown on the plan as the access and utility easement. So it would be coming, there's approximately 58 feet of frontage on West Elm Street for access and utilities. And we'd be coming onto the property and coming to and from the property along that easement. So this is a situation where it probably may not be a conventional Form A or A&R, but we've been working for years with Rob May on this plan and had gone over it with him on numerous occasions. And then, of course, he's not with us anymore, so can't speak to this issue. But I know that the mayor is looking forward to getting this completed. And this is really the final piece before we purchase the property. I've been talking with Elijah regarding there's a restriction number 4 on the plan that says that it's only basically it says approval is subject to Lot 1 securing a recorded copy of the easement plan from the city of Brockton to West Elm Street as shown on the plan. I've actually shared that with the planning department and have explained to Elijah that it probably goes a little further than that. Recording of an easement plan doesn't quite do it. What we've done is drafted a deed wherein the city will grant the easement and tie in the plan, the easement plan. So we're asking you tonight to approve this plan. This is an extremely important project for the city of Brockton. Incidentally, we have a private benefactor who, the last time I knew, he was going to contribute $2 million to upgrades to the Eldon B. Keith Field, so that it would be a great place for people to play sports and soccer and other sports. And I know that we've talked at great length with the mayor about this, and he's totally in favor of this, and we need to get this done. So we're asking you to sign off on this A&R plan so that we can complete the project and get started on construction, which I believe is going to be later this year once the purchase goes through. Rockland Trust, I believe, is financing a considerable amount of money for this, probably in a participation with other lenders. And as I say, there's private financing going into this project as well. So there's a couple $1 million going to the city on the field, and then also the benefactor is squarely behind us, as are other benefactors for this project, because everybody knows how important it is. I believe actually Derek Heim has about 100 children at the school committee meeting tonight to emphasize how important this is to the city of Brockton. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions. And hopefully this additional information is helpful to you in seeing through the fact that we'll have frontage on West Elm Street, and that we could not buy this project, would not buy this project from the city of Brockton unless we had that easement. There's no other real viable access to the property.
Thank you, Attorney McCluskey. Board members, questions?
No,
I'm sorry.
I just have maybe just one statement. This is long overdue, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. All right, if there are no other questions, is this open to the public, Evan?
No, it's just for the board to vote on.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right. Okay, Matthew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Marty? Marty?
Yes.
Okay, and Tony, yes. All right.
I didn't
Thank
vote.
you. Have a good evening. Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, I think you skipped over Yolando. Just heads up for the vote.
Well, I thought I said Yolando. Sorry, Yolando.
I'm a yes.
Would never forget Yolando. Sorry about that, buddy. Sorry. Thank you, Evan. So excited to get to 540 Westgate Drive. I've been trying this 6 times now.
All right, let's get him over. So Tim, that should be you. Anyone else who's a part of this Westgate Drive A&R plan, just raise your hand and I will move you
Thank you.
over. Danielle, I see.
What is the bank that's
everybody.
coming for? Do we know? Doesn't say.
So Mark, are you joining?
Mark's on his way over. Brian's on his way over as well.
Evan, what do we know the bank that wants to create this drive-up window?
I'm not sure if they have one yet, but I'm sure they can answer that better than I could.
Oh. All right. And I remember we just, well, not just, it seems like just approved Bank of America, which we desperately needed a larger one. I still think we need another one. So back the lines there backed up.
So, Evan, are you able to hear?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so we're in a conference room together, so we're on our individual computers, but the audio is through the conference room. So
okay, yep, we can hear you.
Charles is not a person, it's the name of a conference room.
Got it. And are you guys able to share your screen with all your plans?
We can.
Okay, so just to remind you right now, you're going to do the A&R first as one separate item, and then you'll do the site plan review after that.
Okay, that sounds good. So,
and then what you take it away?
Well, the sharing's in process. So Tim Sullivan here, Goulston Stores, on behalf of New England Development, the owner of the Westgate Mall, here for the A&R, and as Evan mentioned, also site plan approval. Mark Jackson from NED is also here, as is Brian Dundon from RJ O'Connell. So I'll just wait until the plan comes up, and then I guess a little bit of background as the plan's coming up. So I think everyone's familiar with them all. Been in the community for a long time as a taxpayer and employer and the like. We're here tonight regarding an application ultimately for site plan approval for a couple of out parcels. And this is an opportunity, as we always do, to try to look at ways to stabilize and invest and enhance the mall, create more opportunities and jobs, and stabilize the there. So we're here for an application that has 2 pad sites in the parking lot. And you'll see that this A&R, as it comes up, is creating lots 10 and 11, which is in the bottom where the cursor is right now. So if you were to look at the existing lotting for the plan, lot 9 is in that location. So to the right of lots 10 and 11 is a parking lot, and then right next to that is the IHOP. So you have the IHOP, a parking lot, and then currently lot 9. As we look at this opportunity to develop 2 sites next to each other, we've basically made lot 9 into lots 10 and 11. So it's a little bit larger area, 2 separate lots, so that each can have its own, enclosed, sort of financing, leasing, ownership, all that sort of stuff. So that's why we're doing this. That's the context of this. We'll talk a bit more of the site plan approval, but that's an overview of what we're planning. We're basically making lot 9 into lots 10 and 11 to align with the development we're proposing.
Oh, okay. So that's the A&R part.
That's the A&R part. I think, Evan, you were suggesting we finish that part and then go to the site plan approval, but we'll follow.
I would say so. So, Madam Chair, that's the A&R. I've reviewed this. It complies to everything. There's no problem with the board, approving it as an A&R. I would suggest doing that vote first, and then rolling into the site plan review portion after that.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Roll call. Marty,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right. Thank you. Where did he go? Where'd Tim go? So that we're all clear, Charles is the name of the company and not a team member, because I saw Charles in one of the cameras.
Charles is the conference room we're in.
Oh, okay. And Charles is hired by the mall to do this, or who hired Charles, and who's going to be renting to a bank?
So
just to
so for the site plan approval, so the team, I'm Tim Sullivan at Goulston & Sowers. I represent New England Development, the owner of the mall. I'm here with Mark Jackson from New England Development and Brian Dundon from RJ O'Connell. And we're sitting in a conference room in my office that's named after the river, Charles. And so
nice.
You're seeing that on the screen here. So Mark Jackson is going to go through the site plan approval, and he'll walk through the site and all the information. And then Brian's here if there's technical questions, and we also have Dan from VAI as well if there were circulation questions. So
yeah. So thank you, Tim. I'm
okay.
Mark Jackson.
Hi, Mark. So is it accurate that the plan is to hopefully get this approved and build a bank and then look for someone to rent it, or do you already have a bank?
No, we have a prospective tenant. We just can't say the name. We're very close to signing the lease. So
all right. I was going to say putting the chicken or the egg, but yeah, I understand. Thank you. Okay, continue.
Yep. So I'm Mark Jackson with New England Development. As Tim mentioned, we have Brian Dundon, who's our civil engineer, with RJ O'Connell, Dan Lasavita, traffic engineer. We'll be here to answer questions, and we're here tonight to seek a site plan approval for the 2 out parcels that are shown that will pull up in a second, adjacent to Westgate Drive, out in that outer ring parking area, as you just saw in the A&R plan. As you know, we previously developed the Bank of America pad at the mall, and as part of our continued investment, we're excited to bring forward this new project that we think will be a great benefit to the members of the city. We had filed our initial application on April 6th, which included a full set of civil drawings from RJ O'Connell, a stormwater report that meets Mass and Brockton stormwater standards, and a traffic memo that was prepared by Banas and Associates. Following our submission, we did technical review on April 27th. And after that, we've been coordinating with Evan and planning staff to address all the comments which they have. But I just wanted to highlight a couple that came up during that tech review. First, a comment came up about how the dumpsters will be accessed. And so the dumpsters will be fully enclosed, they'll be professionally managed, and they'll be emptied off hours so they won't conflict with the drive-through or where during business hours. Another comment, the fire department wanted to make sure there's a Knox box, which we can certainly add to our plan. Question came up on how is the stormwater being handled, and after tech review, we had followed up with Evan and DPW with a memo, as well as the stormwater report that shows how we comply with both Brockton and Mass stormwater guidelines. Question came up about the subdivision, which we just went through with the A&R. And then we were asked to provide a photometric plan, which we did. We filed that right after technical review, which shows that we have adequate lighting across the entire parking in the area, this area of the mall in Westgate Drive. Now, if we could, we're going to share a plan. We're going to walk through the site plan now, and I'm going to start with a zoomed out plan just to give you some context of where we are at the mall. Just one second. So you can see the Westgate Mall. We've got, Burlington and Dick's are kind of on the left side, the Best Buy on the right, and we're towards the bottom of the plan around that outer ring kind of parking along Westgate Drive adjacent to where the IHOP is. Today, that is just kind of an open field of asphalt and parking. So we're going to significantly improve that area with these two out parcels. Access is going to remain the same. So you come off of Westgate Drive adjacent to where the IHOP is, and then you can take a left into the aisle to get to where you need to go. And then now I wanted to just quickly zoom into, and we have a colored site plan just so we can look at each building. So each building, you can see under 2,500 square feet. The restaurant, Pollo Campero, is on the right, and the bank pad, as we just discussed, is on the left. We have a couple images that we can kind of quickly just show to give you a sense of what those buildings will look like. So this is to kind of give you an idea of what the bank will look like. Again, this is, we're still finalizing design. So, but I just wanted to show this to give you a sense of how that will look. And then the Pollo Campero elevation, this is the restaurant on the right-hand side of the site plan, which this was included, I believe, in our application. Should be in the packet. Now, jumping back to the plan, as I mentioned before, this whole area prior was a large asphalt parking area. So what we're doing is we're pulling back those kind of bays that go up and down on the screen, creating several new landscape islands, along with some significant new landscaping improvements all around the buildings and that new parking area that's adjacent to the IHOP building in the Pollo Campero. In total, we're adding about 12,000 square feet of new landscaping impervious area. Each building will be served, will have a drive-through, as you can see, and each one has a bypass lane so that cars can always get through or you won't get stuck in line while you're ordering. As I mentioned before, both buildings are going to be professionally managed for trash. So you can see the restaurant where the cursor is now, that's where the trash enclosure will be. And then on the bank pad, it's up closer to the entry. Each building will have accessible parking right at the front. So there's a direct access to the front door. And then lastly, I know this came up during the Bank of America pad, but all the trees along Westgate Drive, we're going to maintain all those existing trees and that landscape buffer. We know that was something that was important last time, so we're certainly going to do that again here. And overall, you can see that we think this is a significant improvement from what's there today. And we ask you tonight if to approve our site plan so that we can move forward with our tenants. We have a tight schedule and are happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to ask, as we did with the Bank of America, how is traffic going to be contained so they're not just driving crazily through the current open parking lot? Because there's no other than some stripes on the ground, the cars don't follow any specific direction. Are those with those I see plants there in the parking lot.
Yeah, so we're creating kind of an access aisle by pulling those parking bays back, and then we've got, landscape islands at each end. So you're narrowing down and keeping cars dedicated here so they through parking spaces.
And how many parking spaces will the bank have?
I don't know, Brian, you know that answer on stuff.
Yes, so again, the front door of the bank has about eight spaces right at its front door. But again, it'll have the option of being able to utilize and be supported by the mall parking. Right where the cursor is off to the left, that parking over there is kind of dedicated for the employee parking, not only for the bank, but also for the folks at Polo Comparo. And in the event that the front door parking, as Mark alluded to, is full, bank patrons will have the utilization of the support of the mall parking lot to utilize those spaces to access the building to do their business.
And they'll be able to utilize that lot that's on the right side as well. Right there. Yeah.
On the over here. Oh, okay. And if they park behind the new greenage there, I mean, we probably need to put in some crosswalks.
So what? Yep, and that's what you're seeing with the cursor. So what we have done is we've provided pedestrian connectivity from the retail bank to the Polo Comparo to the front entry area of the IHOP restaurant. That is designated with that kind of that yellowish color along the edge of the access drive. So in each crossing, it is supported with a crosswalk and stop signage. As people approach or exit the drive-through lane, they need to stop first, obviously, before they enter into the mall perimeter ring road to exit the premises.
Okay, I see.
So
I see.
each
Yeah.
one is provided with safe passage.
Okay. Very nice.
Madam
the small
Chair,
had been losing business for a while, and anything to bring in, more foot traffic and maybe attract some stores to breathe in some fresh air to the mall is welcome. So thank you. Did someone have a question? Was it Yolando?
yeah, I have a question, especially because we're mentioning the sidewalk and the crosswalks. I'm wondering, why not have any pedestrian accommodations on Westgate Drive?
Currently, right now, there is no sidewalk network along Westgate Drive along this frontage. We also have a grade differential. The elevation of Westgate Drive is about 5 feet higher than the grade of where these two building pads is. So from an elevation perspective, and also to be sensitive to ADA design guidelines, the landscape buffer between the curb line of Westgate Drive and the mall perimeter parking lot area would require significant disturbance into it and the removal of trees to try to get a sidewalk system from Westgate Drive to these two buildings without the benefit of having a coordinated sidewalk system along Westgate Drive. So that's the reason why it wasn't provided.
Do you all own, so you all are also the owners of IHOP, right?
IHOP is a tenant of the mall, yes.
So no, because I see like at the Westgate Drive extension over there, there seems like there is some infrastructure that's built out. Like, shouldn't there be some type of I'm worried that this is just too car centric, and we're going to continue just to never invest in like making Westgate Drive like accommodating to other type of uses. And even if we try to do a little bit of work for pedestrian use within the mall, like people are not going to walk to it, and people they'll still walk to it. They're just going to be putting themselves at risk getting to it. Like, for example, if you're doing business at Town Fair Tire and you're interested in and your car is being worked on, you're probably going to be like, oh, what's that spot over there that's serving, that new restaurant? And they might decide to cross the street at Westgate Drive, just putting themselves at risk if we're not thinking about proper accommodations. I know there's ADA, there is way to do crosswalk in ADA, be ADA compliance and do have sidewalk improvements. Um, but I guess like, and you can still accommodate for the trees that are there. But I guess like it would require we all to make that a priority.
Yolanda, where are you thinking? I mean, I was thinking crosswalks just on the other side of the greenage there in case they're park, the overflow would park over there. Where are you thinking?
I mean, I'm more
Specific?
thinking like extending the IHOP sidewalk to go more towards Westgate Drive, and then like building out a crosswalk there to go towards some of the different businesses that are across the street. Or or you might, I mean, like it's kind of like I think you all could put in the effort and try to figure that out a little bit. Um, I think it would be ideal to figure it out because people are they're going to, you know, do what they think is best for them in that situation. And sometimes people make the wrong decisions, and we don't want to put people at risk. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people getting hit by vehicles and crashes in Brockton. And as much if we can put some investment into that type of infrastructure to protect people, I think that's a good thing.
I mean, I have to agree with you. I've done exactly what you said, had my tires being done, and I went across the street to the mall. I don't recall if there's a crosswalk there now or not. Um,
So I think that what we've tried to do here is to balance, understanding that this is an existing property and Westgate Drive is built out and the mall's existed for quite some time. When we do this, we're trying to figure out how can we work within that framework, right? And so as you look at these two paths and the IHOP, we've tried to tie into the parking lots that exist and create pedestrian connectivity. And we're happy to look at it and see if we can refine it a bit, but we also don't want to create a situation where we have a crosswalk to nowhere or into a place that would, invite someone to cross to something that doesn't have appropriate accommodations or safe sidewalks either. We have to make sure, and of course, given the scope of this application, we can't be constructing, tremendous lengths of sidewalks to get to a place. So we're happy. We've tried to strike that balance here with the crosswalks we've provided, and we're happy to look at that a little bit further to see what we can do. But I think it may be limited given the nature of the property.
well, I see you put some nice ones there, and please understand this board is all pro bringing in business into the city. So we're trying to work with you and also think about public safety. So Yolanda, are you specifically looking at that Westgate Drive extension for that? Wouldn't make sense to put a crosswalk there. There's nothing across the way. Well, there's hotels back there, right?
I mean, I would say if this might be something to like look at the IHOP, what's already built out for infrastructure there, and see if you can extend that sidewalk network to go um, towards the Westgate Drive, and then eventually probably, yeah, right, maybe not putting the crosswalk now, but you have to start building the sidewalk infrastructure somewhere. And I think like right now it might be a sidewalk to nowhere, but I think the mall needs to start to be more thinking about adding that infrastructure as we go project by project, because the investment's ever going to be made that we're going to build out all the sidewalk and in one big project. That's not something I've heard that is being done for Westgate Drive, but this is one project, and there's going to be other projects that folks are going to come to us on, and we need to start making these asks like, can you add the infrastructure in place?
I think that's fair. Other board members?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I get quick question here. Just looking at both dumpster enclosures, what are we using for the enclosures as far as materials? Is it wood and steel, or what do you plan on using?
Yeah, it should be, I think there might, I don't know if there's a detail of the application, but it will be wood and steel. Something
Okay.
typically you'd see at one of these types of restaurants.
Sure. They vary quite differently. So, and as you know, Westgate Drive's a heavily traveled street, and those will kind of be featured as you drive around the back side on Westgate Drive. Could we think about adding some more shrubbery around the enclosures?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay. Yeah, just to kind of dress it up a little bit more. And
Yeah.
other than that, I agree with, keeping the crosswalk in mind, because we do have these kind of piecemeal. We're putting it in, and then in 6 months we might see another one and another one. So I would be in favor to see some effort for the crosswalks on site plan approval on the next phase. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you, James. Anybody else? You made mention that the fire department wanted a Knox box.
Yes. I don't know, do you want to describe what
Yes.
that?
Yes, the fire department, the fire department requested Knox boxes be installed within both buildings. And this is typically a standard condition based on my past experiences with site plan review with the city of Brockton, that the fire department will add as a standard condition of the site plan review decision that Knox boxes be provided for all the structures, and we will agree to do that.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure Deputy Chief Brendan Weeks does not have any questions for that.
No, Madam Chair, we discussed this at length during the site plan review, or tech review rather, and they thoroughly met all my concerns. But thank you for checking in on it.
So Evan, this is a standard condition, so should we vote yes? Do we need to make it a condition, or we don't need to worry about that? Just
For
please
the
clarify
Knox
for us.
box, you mean, Madam Chair?
Yes.
I think it'll be taken care of regardless. So you don't have to worry about it.
All right, thank you. All right, so is this open to public comment?
It is. Let's see if any members of the public would like to comment on this project. Please use the raise your hand icon. We will allow you to speak. I don't see any members of the public. However, I do know one of the counselors did have a comment, and it looks like Isaiah will share those comments with you.
Hello, board. I just wanted to speak on behalf of Councilor Azak. She called earlier today. She couldn't be at the meeting today, but she wanted to let you guys all know that she strongly supports the project and Westgate Mall as one of the bigger taxpayers in her ward and in the city, and the jobs they provide. So she just wanted to offer her support to this project. For the record.
Awesome. Awesome. I agree. Looking forward to the new business in this new chicken spot. Never heard of it before. All right. On that note, is there a motion?
Motion to approve standard conditions.
Do you want to add in the extra shrubbery around the?
Oh yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I almost forgot. It's getting late. So motion to approve with standard conditions. Also to add more shrubbery around the dumpster enclosures, so that the Westgate Drive side it's a little bit more dressed up, and to add consideration to crosswalks crossing Westgate Drive.
And I would say the sidewalk piece, if either IHOP or I think there needs to be a little bit more built out for at least a small sidewalk infrastructure to go to Westgate Drive.
And I'll add that sidewalk build out
We can
on Westgate Drive at the IHOP.
So may I just offer on that. So I don't know that that will be feasible. We're happy to evaluate the feasibility, but
Yeah.
we don't own Westgate Drive. We don't know exactly, we have concerns about that condition. So we'd need some level of like, we'll evaluate it, we'll look at it, but it can't be that we're creating a sidewalk that we don't have defined or plans for.
So on my
Right.
motion,
Well, what do you-
I'll scratch the last piece and just add that if you could do a feasibility study and give us the conclusion of what you're willing to do on that.
Thank
I
you.
second that.
All right. Okay, here we go. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Yolando,
No.
Tony, yes. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up, 177 Carroll Avenue. C&J Home Renovations, ready to represent the applicant, Christian Ferrera.
I do not see anybody here for this. I guess I can try and do it myself. Give me a moment. This is just
Wait. Why would you do it?
Well, okay,
If
so
they're not here, why would you?
I guess it's up to you. I don't know. This is an internal ADU. I'm not sure why they're not here. That's just a homeowner. They're usually
All
not.
due respect, let's skip them. Let's skip
Okay,
them.
do you
They're
want
not
to-
here. I want to skip them.
Would you like to pull them? Do you want to continue them to next month or just pull them off?
Is there a motion to continue them to next month's hearing meeting?
Motion to
I'd make that
continue.
motion. Second.
All right, Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tony, yes. Okay. I didn't skip anyone, did I?
Yeah, me. It's okay, yes.
Marty.
Yes,
You made the motion.
it's
Sorry.
okay, yes.
It's not like I skipped somebody. I'm used to my double screen so I can see you all. Right now I don't see everybody. Okay, next up, 484 Pleasant Street. It's a site plan review, and I hope that Scott is here from JK Holmgren Engineering. He wouldn't leave us hanging, would he?
He is, but it's actually the other Scott this time.
Oh, okay. There's two Scotts? I didn't know there was two Scotts.
There's two Scotts.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Scott Rogers from JK Holmgren Engineering. So,
Hey, Scott.
how are you? So, before you tonight is a project 484 Pleasant Street. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with where it is, but it's past the Westgate Mall. If you're driving from the Westgate, you go past the new Ace Dental, which is on your left, and past that. This project is obviously on Pleasant Street on the right-hand side, just past Prospect Street. So this project is in the C2 zone. We did receive approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals because it is a residential use in a C2 zone. There also is the Salisbury Brook, which is behind our project. This is about a 1.4 acre piece of land.
Scott, can I just jump in real quick? Are you able to share your screen or do you need
I can
help?
try it.
Okay.
I can try it. Let's see what happens here. Let me know if you can see that.
There you go. You got it.
All right. And so there is the Salisbury Brook behind the site, and we did go to the Conservation Commission. We had peer review done by PAIR. So they did several or a couple of peer review letters. We did response letters in response to their comments. We did receive an order of conditions from the Conservation Commission in Brockton. We also had a tech review meeting back in, I believe it was early February of this year. And then we had a second tech review meeting, I believe it was mid to late March of this year as well. So for the proposed project, there's existing building. I can go to the existing conditions plan for you. So that's the existing conditions plan. There's kind of a funky shaped building. That's a total of 6 units existing. It does kind of slope down towards the river as you would expect. And as I mentioned, there's a buffer zone, there's a bordering vegetated wetland, as well as a riverfront area in the back on the south side. So for the site plan part of it, we are adding a new building. You can see that kind of on the right-hand side of your screen in this area. And that will contain 4 new units, 2 on the first floor and 2 on the second floor. That building itself is 28 by 64 dimensions. And then we are proposing a trash enclosure, which is kind of located in this area over here. And there'll be a total of 22 parking spaces total. We are providing an ADA space in this area over here. So it meets the parking requirements, actually exceeds the parking requirements for Brockton residential developments. As far as utilities, we're proposing a 6-inch water service to the property, and I believe it was a request from the fire department that we had a hydrant put in, so there'll be a hydrant proposed on the project as well. And then the overall water line to the new building will be a 4-inch water line. And of course, there'll be proposed sewer connections to the new building, and there will be a gas service as well. So as far as stormwater management, the site kind of does slope up from the street, and then at the back of the existing building, it kind of slopes down about, I'd say, 6 feet or so. And then the parking lot that's across from the new development is relatively flat. I believe it's about 1.5%. In the southern corner of the property, or southern corner of the parking lot, there'll be a riprap apron or riprap swale with a curb rake there, and that'll go into a sediment forebay. And then that'll overflow into a rain garden in this area over here. So that particular series of the sediment forebay and the rain garden has been designed, in accordance with stormwater management standards, and obviously it was reviewed and approved, or reviewed by the review consultant. So we've also got some house plans if you're interested in seeing them, but it is they are modular building that's done by Westchester Homes, and we're actually working with that company on another project in Easton, actually. So we're familiar with that company. So with that, I'd like to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Scott. Just wondering, I mean, it's a great location. I know this current development. Is this market priced or subsidized housing?
It'll be market priced.
Okay. And Deputy Chief Weeks, I'm not sure if you had any additional questions about the emergency access for vehicles, emergency vehicles. Deputy Chief, is he still on with us? Oh, he might have stepped away for a minute. You mentioned a hydrant, you propose a hydrant, but that's part of the plan, correct?
Yes, correct. Yep, a new hydrant.
Okay. And so, Evan, is that part of standard conditions, or do we need to make it a condition should this pass?
So you said you added it in already, or they had asked you?
No, it's
sorry, say that again?
I believe came up during one of the tech review meetings.
Okay, what you could do, Madam Chair, is if you want, you could condition a sign off by fire in general before they're probably going to review it again, but I'm not sure the actual details of what they would or would not want.
Sign off by fire department for the hydrant, and then the lot extension for emergency vehicles access. Other board members, questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions. So the lot, as you look at it from the street, to the left corner, there's a tiny piece of green space before the parking lot. Is that something we can add some shrubbery to kind of dress it up? It's not very big. Some sort of small evergreens in that space. Is that something that's reasonable?
I'm sorry, you're talking about if you're at Pleasant Street looking at the site on the left-hand side?
Yes, there's like, I don't know if it's like a 5 by 8 green space, but if you could get something that's, not ankle high, but something that'll grow, you know, less than 6 feet.
That, that's,
Um,
that seems reasonable.
and also, and I'll be done with this. There's an empty sidewalk cut across the street. Would you guys throw a street tree in that?
Street tree, okay. Uh, I can certainly bring that to the client. I don't think that's a problem though.
Okay, that's begging for a tree, and that's all I've got, Madam Chair.
Taking for a treat. James, where did you want the greenage and no higher than 6 foot? Because I want to make sure that it's not going to obstruct people pulling in or out onto Pleasant
No,
Street.
it's so if you're looking at his map right there, you can kind of see it. It's if it says Pleasant Street, follow the
Mhm.
S down and that little it's below the S right there on the property. That's the little green space.
Right here.
Yeah.
And cars go in and out right there or no?
Yeah, they
What
come
am
in
I
and
looking
out
at? It
there,
looks
but
like
you
there's
also have I mean you also have the green to the left to the right of that is all trees. So it's not you're not blocking anything that's not already blocked.
okay.
And if it's, below, not too tall and doesn't branch out too wide, you still have a sidewalk buffer, so it should be fine pulling out.
Yeah. Just take that into consideration, Scott, when you plant something up, that it's not going to grow too high where it block vehicles.
Yeah, we'll keep the stuff at a reasonable height so it's not going to block visibility.
'Cause we
Thank
have
you.
this issue all over the city right now, and so that's why I'm like kind of sensitive to it. But thank you, Jim. Any other questions from board members?
Yeah, Madam Chairwoman, I do have one. So with regards to the 4 unit residential building, is there going to be a fire suppression system within the building?
I don't believe there will be, no.
Because it's a 2-story?
Correct.
Okay. And it's only 3 or more that requires a fire suppression system.
I'm not sure of the actual whether it's by square foot or by unit count. I know that if it was required for a fire
But
suppression, the fire
Matthew,
department would
they
ask us
will,
for that.
Madam Chair, if you like, I could speak to that.
oh, you're back. Yes, please.
Yeah.
About that and the hydrant and the emergency vehicle access, please.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were looking for a comment on the hydrant. I must have missed part of that. Yeah, so because this is, I believe, a 4 unit, it is required to have a fire suppression system. That's why the hydrant was brought up in the first place, because we need to be within a certain distance of the fire department connection that's on the building. So it will have a suppression system.
Okay.
So it is required to have a suppression system.
It is, yes.
And Mr. Rogers just said that it was not required.
Well, the hydrant is going to take place for the suppression system.
No, the hydrant will be our supply for the suppression. So when I was
It
dealing
will
with
need both.
them during tech review, the suppression system was discussed.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Rogers, to follow up on my question, it will have a fire suppression system within the building?
It sounds like that was a requirement, so if I misspoke, I apologize.
Okay. So Evan, that's not on the plan currently?
I imagine that would be internal. Is that correct, Deputy Chief Weeks? I imagine you'll take care of that step, right?
Yeah, so the actual fire alarm and sprinkler system plans come in at the building permit stage. So
Okay.
it's not even something that it's not even a question. It is required by law, Mass General Law, Chapter 148, that this would have to have it. So it's not even a matter of discussion. It will have a suppression system or it won't be built.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sure.
All right.
And can you just clarify for me, what the requirement is? Is it a number of units within the building? I just pure curiosity. I'm just curious
Sure. Yeah, no,
what would
that's a good
constitute
question,
that.
Matt. So it depends on the type of occupancy. So if it's a residential, if it has three or more units, it's required to have a suppression system. If it goes and there's several different levels of suppression system. So the larger the building gets, the more robust the system becomes. When you're talking about a commercial space, it's based on square footage. And if you're talking about an assembly space, it's based on occupancy. So let's say you had a small bar that could seat 90 people, you're not required to have a suppression system. If you went to 100 people, now you would have to have a suppression system.
Okay.
If you built a warehouse and it was 1,500 square feet, you wouldn't need one. But if you went over 5,000 square feet, you would. So there's just different. It depends on the occupancy and the use of the building.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you, Matthew. Any other questions? Okay, is this open to public? Anyone have their hand raised?
Madam Chair, there is nobody here.
Okay.
Madam
Is there a
Chair, I was just wondering if there was any other renderings, or is it just this plan, this site plan?
We have the site plan package, which I can flip through if you want to see it. And then we also have some architectural plans.
Yeah, just the architectural plans.
If I can get them. There we go. Can you see those?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
So that's the rendering and the building elevations. That's the floor plan. And I believe that's the second floor plan.
All right. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the condition of adding shrubbery to the front of the property, but making sure that it does not obscure the driver's visibility while entering and exiting the driveway, as well as a final sign off by fire to ensure that there is a hydrant, lot extension for fire access, as well as a fire suppression system within the building before a permit for occupancy is issued.
On the motion, can we just add the street tree?
Oh, sorry, Jim. And the street
That's all
tree.
right. And that street tree is directly across the street, and the curb cut is already made.
All right, perfect. Is there someone going to second?
Second that.
Okay. Matthew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
and Tony, yes. All right, thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott.
Sorry, Jim. In all my notes, I forgot the street tree.
No, that's all right. That was a good one.
Okay, next up. 19 Sampson Street, which Scott is presenting. Definitive subdivision.
Correct.
Is it the same Scott or
Same
the other
Scott.
Scott? Okay. All right, take it away.
Thank you.
So
So this particular project, can you see the new screen?
Yes.
All right. So for the record, my name's Scott Rogers from JK Home Engineering. Before you tonight is a definitive subdivision plan. It's an existing lot that we're subdividing into two pieces. This is in the R1C zone. It's on the corner of Sansom Street and Jackson Street. The existing lot is almost 11,000 square feet, and Lot A will be the existing house to remain, and Lot B will be a proposed new house. Generally, the sizing of these lots is pretty consistent with the existing neighborhood. Number 18, Sansom, is about a little over 6,500 square feet. Number 17 is a little over 4,700 square feet. And number 43, Jackson Street, is about 5,600 or so square feet. So we feel like we've created lots that basically kind of conform to the existing general size and shape of the neighborhood. Uh, I'm sure you're familiar with this property, but if you're not, if you go east from Montello Street, go east on Perkins Ave, and that candy factory is on the right. That's a job that Holmgren worked on. That's going to become a storage facility. It's being worked on currently now. And then go past that, and on the left-hand side will be Jackson Street, and that first road obviously is Samson Street. So with these projects, the way Brockton does it, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but I figured I'd mention it anyways. It's a little bit different than how other places do it, but in Brockton, what we do is we do a definitive subdivision plan first, goes before the planning board. Then we have to go to the zoning board of appeals to get this approved because we will need variances from the zoning board of appeals to get relief to create these lots. So one thing that did want to mention to you, when we go to the zoning board of appeals, we'll be looking at doing some landscaping in the front of those the new proposed house as well. So with that, I'd love to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, I don't have any other board members.
Yeah, Madam Chair, what are the setbacks you've got currently?
Let me just blow that up a little bit. The existing house is about 6 feet off of Sansum on the street side, and on the right-hand side lot line, it's only 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
In the back, it's about 18 feet to the rear lot line.
Okay. That's on the existing and on the proposed?
15 feet on the street side. On Jackson, it'll be 24, 17 feet on the side lot line, and 23 feet on the rear lot line.
And what would be what would be the relief and what's needed in the zone?
All right, so we obviously need a variance for the lot area. We also need a relief. We need a variance for frontage. We'll need a variance for front setback. We won't need a variance for side, and we will need a variance for rear yard setback.
So it does seem like it's a little bit better than what the neighbors, even the next two down, have on the tightest setback on the frontage. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Madam Chair, if I could ask,
Sure.
wouldn't it make more sense to go to zoning first?
I'm not disagreeing that you are incorrect, but the way Brockton does it, this is how the process goes.
So if we approve this and zoning doesn't give you the variances, then it's no good, right?
Then it's null and void, correct?
Right. Okay.
Great. Other questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just have a quick question regarding the waiver for curbs and sidewalks. Could you go into that a little bit just to explain it a little further in detail, what the waiver is for?
I'm not sure what waiver you're talking about.
That was one of the waivers that I'm seeing on my sheet. Are you guys seeing the same thing?
Yes, Scott, that was one of the waivers that you guys requested on the plan. You should be on the bottom of your plan, I think, in the middle part. If you scroll down there. Section 5C, curbs and sidewalks. To the right of your cursor.
Oh, okay. So I believe that there are no sidewalks or curbs on this street currently. So we need to ask for a waiver for that because they don't exist anywhere on the premises.
Okay,
any other
and if we could just go over the different waiver requests. So it would be the existing streets, underground, above ground utilities are existing. Obviously, we went over frontage. So for the utilities, can you go over the request for that as well?
Yeah, so typically in Brockton, like a lot of towns and cities, they use overhead poles. It's not that it's rare, but for what exists now, it's overhead utility poles. So we're proposing to basically tie into existing overhead utilities with overhead, telephone, electric data lines versus underground.
Okay, got it.
So Matt, if you want me to just jump in real quick, I can probably clarify with them. Usually, these are the design guidelines. Usually, when they're building out like a new subdivision and they're building new roads, these are the standards that the city wants them to build to. Because this is being built on an existing road, an existing neighborhood, they're kind of saying it's already there. There's no sidewalks in the neighborhood, so can we not be held to these standards of improving this one area around our lot, basically?
Yep. Got it. I'm looking at the street right now on Google Maps.
All right, any other
No.
questions? Thanks. All right, open up for public. Any hands raised?
There are none, Madam Chair.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Are we on that motion, are we voting each waiver one at a time?
Afterwards.
Afterwards, okay.
Yeah, after this initial vote. Okay, so there was a second.
Yes.
Yes.
Did I hear a second? Okay.
I
All right,
seconded.
James?
Yes.
Okay, Marty?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Yolando?
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right. Next we'll go through each waiver. Is there a motion for existing streets? What is this first one exactly?
I don't really truly understand it. If someone could explain that, that would be helpful.
Yeah. What is this first one, Evan? Streets, existing streets.
So this is
Sampson
all
Street.
this is all the information that was provided. Again, I'm assuming that this is requesting to not be held by all the design standards for a street construction in Brockton because Sampson Street is already existing. They're not building it from scratch. But
To your point, Evan,
Scott?
I believe Brockton requires about a 38-foot wide roadway. It'd be one thing if we were building a brand new subdivision and we could ask for waivers, but this is an existing public street that exists that's built out basically.
And it still requires a waiver.
It does because it's a subdivision.
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. James?
Yes.
Marty?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Yolando?
Yeah, yes, on the existing streets.
Okay, thank you. Next, is there a motion for utilities to connect to the existing above ground utilities?
Yes, I
Motion
make
to
that
approve.
motion.
Second.
Okay. All right, thank you. James?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Marty?
Yes.
Yolando?
Yes.
Tony, yes. Third waiver, is there a motion
Motion to
not?
approve.
Second.
Okay. James?
Yes.
Marty?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Yolando?
No.
No.
Tony, yes. All right. And the last
And
one.
just
front
to,
waiver.
sorry, Madam Chairwoman, I just wanted to confirm with the board that I did Google Maps it, and there are no existing sidewalks on the entire street.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
saw that. So, yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
And so it falls in line with the rest of the neighborhood.
Yes, correct.
The last waiver. Is there a motion for waiver on the frontage?
Yeah, I
Motion
make
to
that
approve.
motion.
Second.
All right, Matthew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right, thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay,
Thanks, Scott.
last
Have a good one.
Too.
discussion around digital signatures. I'm all for it.
That's actually something Elijah wanted to speak with you guys, but he couldn't come today because he had to go to the ordinance committee. So he just asked to have that pushed off to next month.
Sure. Is there a motion to put it on next month's agenda?
Motion to put on
Motion
next
to-
month's agenda.
Second that.
Oh, but I'm looking forward to that because we need to keep moving on with the industries and not stay back in the dinosaur ages. So that'll be great to be able to sign these. I mean, I sign everything electronically for major contracts. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Madam Chairwoman, it's our last meeting with a certain person.
Oh, yeah.
Isaiah, my goodness.
Isaiah's proper sign off.
Mm. It's been great working with you, Isaiah. You weren't here long enough. Are you keeping where you're going a secret?
No, it's not a secret. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
No, it's not a secret board. I am gonna be focusing on I have like a real estate business I've been trying to build and focus on, so I have taken the opportunity to go into that and focus more time on the young professionals and stuff.
Nice.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Wishing you success.
Thank you, but you
So-
guys are gonna still see me. I'm not going anywhere.
I was just about to say, I'm like, with real estate, you might be seeing us soon on the other end.
Yes, we'll see.
All
But
right.
seriously, guys, it was an honor to serve you guys and administer the board here. And honestly, you guys are a great group, and I'm gonna miss every first Tuesday coming and watching you guys do your thing. I really will. I won't miss the minute,
Liar.
but I'll miss that.
You know, you can still watch, right? You
I
don't have
probably
to-
will.
You don't have to not watch.
You probably
We'll miss you,
won't.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We will miss you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Now we've wiped off our tears. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
James,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Matthew,
Oh, yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right. Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
I
Good night,
do
all.
need three. I forgot to tell you guys. I do need three signatures for a plan. If three of you want to come down and say goodbye and sign, that'd be
I
appreciated.
can get there Friday, Isaiah. Not a
Okay.
problem.
I'll
At
come
like
in.
1 o'clock.
I
Wonderful.
should be there Friday too.
Sweet. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Just send an email out when it's ready, and I'll.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. It's
All
ready
right.
now. It's ready now, Jim.
Oh, okay. All right.
I would say for the next one, I would
Thank
send an
you.
email, but
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thanks,
Rub it
everyone.
in. Rub it in, Isaiah. Rub it in. Bye.
Good night, everyone.